Hi, welcome to the official first week of the quilt along for Splash Skull. If you've purchased it, fantastic. If you've not, still got plenty of time. So the way we're going to run this quilt along is going to be cool, calm and relaxed. There's no deadlines. The Facebook group is going to remain open because it's where I'll be doing all future quilt alongs, and you can join at any time. So there'll always be someone in that group there to help you if wherever you are in the pattern itself. Now, I am always running behind because life happens, and I'm sure a lot of you will have that too, where life happens and you know you get caught up and you can't get the blocks done, and that'll be me. I'll probably be the last one finished. Anyway, so I finally purchased my fabrics, and whilst I went into the shop with a plan, I did not stick to it because that's how life goes. So in Australia here, we use mostly Devonstone fabrics for our solids, or I do anyway. And I've got mine just here, in a handy dandy bag. I've got my pattern out. So what I didn't do when I was in the store is I didn't write down the names of the colours. So I can't now go into Quilt Ink and try and see what it's going to look like. However, I've basically picked blues, purple, grey and a red background instead of a black background. How that's going to officially look at the end, I do not know. Stay tuned. So we've got a red background. So basically where the blues are, the blue is still going to be there, and where the purple is, the purple is still going to be there. Everywhere else pretty much will be your grey tones. So it's going to be interesting. I was hoping for more grey tones, but I couldn't find enough to do the whole scalp. So we just went on the fly and just did whatever. So I've set out, so while I was in the shop, while I was choosing what colour was going to be what and where, I actually took in my paper with me, and I actually cut them out and stuck them straight. I had to buy a few clips because I didn't bring any with me. So I bought some clips and just put them straight to the fabrics. So now I have my fabrics already sorted in their colours. There are a couple of fabrics here which I've used like one fabric for two spots because I know they don't intersect, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm going to pop them, I've got a little handy dandy basket here, and I'm actually going to try and file them all into here so that as I'm going, I can just pick and choose. I had considered Ziploc bags, but then I would get very annoyed to have to open them every 5 minutes. But we will see how we go. So we're actually going to pile them all into our basket. And we're going to hope for the best. I've picked fabrics that if I do run out because I've got the quantities wrong or something along those lines, which is ADHD and all that sort of stuff, it's not unlikely for me. For when I'm picking fabrics in a shop and go, yeah, I need this much, I need this much. Then at least I can run down and get it. So most of these are Devonstone. I've gone grunge for the background. So this is the red I'm using. All right. If I had grunge available here, like the whole range, I would have gone grunge for the whole thing. But we don't have that luxury here. So I'm going to pop this one at the back there. No, actually I'll pop it on the front here. Oh, no, that's going to fall. So that'll be closest to me. Having said that, I'll probably cut that into smaller bits, so it'll be just easier to work with. Right, so we've got all the rest. So these are the sort of dark blues that we've got. All right, so very, very dark blue there. I've still kept some of the bright blues. So I think in the pattern itself, number 3 is the brightest blue. So I've kept that where it is. So where you see the brightest blue there, it's still going to be there. So it's going to be very interesting. It might even look like the skull is slowly losing its colour. Let's look at it that way. It's a quilt in motion. So yeah, so I'll pop all these in my basket. Now, alongside that, other things I'm going to keep with me. So these are the pins I was talking about last time. So these are actually pretty cool. The ones I call acupuncture pins. So these have got like a little rubbery thing that's supposed to not melt. I haven't put it to the test yet. But they're really thin. When I bought them, I should have gotten the longer ones because you can probably see these aren't Where's the black? Can you see that? These aren't that long. So if they were a little bit longer, it probably would have been easier to use. But what happens, I find, is instead of bowing the fabric when you put sort of two in like this, and you see how the fabric is sort of, right? It usually, because this hasn't got that much on it, it can hold it a little straighter, a little flatter, right? So I like these pins. I will get some more. I'll get the longer ones. Right, let's move these out the way. Now, your cottons, it's up to you what you use. The best one to use, and of course depending on your colour scheme, if you were doing probably the rainbow one, I'd just go a medium grey for your cottons, for your piecing. People usually use a lighter weight. Now I quilt for enjoyment, so I quilt with whatever I've got. At the moment I've got loaded white. I think that's my child in the background. I've got black on the bobbin and I've got white threaded. For me, I'm not going to enter into a competition, and I'm just happy just to, you know, get through it and give them to the kids, because it's for the kids essentially, right? As long as it holds, it's not going to be something that's going to snap every minute. You'll be fine, right? Alongside that, clips. These ones aren't too bad. Really, they're much of a muchness, whether you pay $10 for a packet of 5 or $5 for a pack of 200. They pretty much all work the same. Eventually, the plastic gets brittle and they break. So, to me, I get the cheaper ones because they get replaced often. Right, you want a good pair of scissors. I have scissors, but they're not good. I have to get a better pair of scissors eventually. Both these work just as well. They're supposed to only be for fabric, but I have kids and a partner, and no one will admit to using them on paper. But anyway, such is life. So yeah, so I've got all those there. So where you're sitting in this room is you're actually sitting on my ironing table. So I've got a little mini ironing table that sits right next to my machine, and that's sitting right here. In front of me here, you can see is a cutting mat, and I've got like a small amount of space here where I could just cut. There will be bigger pieces where I could just move my machine a little bit further back and I'll have more space to cut. On the left here, once I find a cord long enough, I can get my light box. So I've got a little light pad, and that'll go there, and I'll be able to fold and see through the paper for the fabrics and so forth. So it's the first time I'm going to be working one of those, so I'm a little bit excited. That was my treat. Other than that, you've got to check the tension on your machine to make sure that that's all working correctly. So I've got a bag of scrap fabrics here. I'll go along later and just check my tension. And what you should be doing, and I know a lot of us don't do that, new project, new needle. And same with your rotary, new project, new blade. I don't do that. If it's still working fine, I'll keep going with it. And then I'll eventually, if it snaps or something or starts to ruin the fabric, I'll change it. That being said, I do have a lot of them sit next to me anyway. Right? Oh, and I have a little basket of little bits and bobs that I might need. It's also good to have a couple of bobbins ready to go, because there's nothing more annoying than losing, you know, cotton chicken and then not having a bobbin ready just to pop straight back in and keep going. So that's another thing also. So I'll keep my pattern next to me as well, because that's got all my details. But I won't need that until I'm actually putting blocks together, right? Alongside that, a couple of paper scissors, which I have to admit, my paper scissors probably cut fabric better than my fabric scissors, but again. And one of these. I'm very, very familiar with one of these. I use it all the time because as much as I'd like to say, I get every piece very perfectly ready. Man, it's all perfect and nothing's wrong. I don't do anything. No. I unpick a lot. And I'm also faced with the decision of, should I unpick it or am I going to leave it? More often than not, I leave it. Because, again, I'm not quilting for a competition. I'm quilting for us. And, you know, a little mistake here and there will just show that it's not machine made by, you know, another country, or it's not, it's me. It's me. A project isn't a project unless I have a couple of errors in it. And that's how it is. I would be very surprised if I've got a project out there that doesn't have sort of a little bit of a in it. Right, so that's pretty much all I would have here. Although that's not quite all I would have. I probably have a big thing of coffee, because coffee's my addiction. Other than that, I think we're ready to go. So what you'd do is you'd have to have a place where you would put your pattern pieces. And once you do each piece, somewhere where you would put them. So I like to place them behind my machine. So I'm actually working from a kitchen table. So I work from a very tiny space. I know some of you have some beautiful studios. We are not there yet. Maybe one day when I get a bigger house, I can get a studio. But for now, we are working from the kitchen table. So I have space behind my machine where I can place my blocks that are ready to be put together to the other blocks, just sitting there and waiting. All right. I also have my pattern piece. So I'll have my blocks on this side. I have my pattern piece. So I just reach around, grab the block to do, pop it over when it's done. Okay. Now, they're the plans I have. Whether I stick to this is another story, because I do like to work in chaos. So I think some of you have already started, which is fantastic. And some of you are still picking fabric. Take your time. It is a big project. Get it right. I did take my time with picking fabrics, and then still went in randomly picked when I was in there. So once you've cut all your patterns and you've got them all ready to go, you can just start. So I'd like to know who are new beginners. Is this your first foundation paper piecing pattern that you're doing? Because that is pretty wild to be starting with this one. And if you need me to hold your hand, I will be there to hold your hand. Do you want me to show you some more of the basics? Do you have a deadline for when you would like this pattern to be done by? I particularly don't. I am planning another major pattern release by February, March next year. So I know I need to get it complete, this one complete by then. You don't have to. We will still be having people doing the quilts beyond February, March. Some people have bought the pattern and deciding to not complete it till Halloween of next year. So, and some people want to do it by Christmas. By all means, zoom ahead. If you have any questions, if you have any issues, throw them into the group or send me a message, and I'll answer them for you, or anyone in the group can answer them for you as well. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Next time I see you, I'm going to have a couple of blocks done. Now, I am personally starting from A, right? So I'm starting in order. Some people like to start from the bigger section. So the bigger sections would be the outer sections, because they got the bigger pieces, okay? Which is fine. What you could do is start from the outer sections and work your way in. But I wouldn't be sewing them together until you've done one side first, and then do the other side, and then, you know, put those together and go from there. If you need any advice on which ones to do, and you're fairly new, I would probably go for the one with the bigger pieces. So go from the outside in, but don't sew them until you're in, and then sew them out. Right. I hope that wasn't too confusing. And again, this is my first quilt along that I'm running, so it may be a bit loosey-goosey, but we will get there in the end. And then the next one that comes out in February, March might be a little bit more structured, because it's a lot more complex. So if you've ever been in any of the quilting groups on Facebook and you've seen someone post up Medusa, the workings of Medusa, that's me. Well, I don't know if anyone else is doing Medusa, but if you look up under my name, Diana, in those quilting groups, you may see the Medusa pattern in the works. So that's a very, very detailed one to look out for. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Pop all your questions down below. Give me any ideas that you want to sort of work with or where you're starting from. I'd like to know who has started, who's still cutting out the pattern, who's still picking fabrics. Do you need help picking fabrics? You're more than welcome to get on and say, hey, can't decide between this one and this one. Can you help me decide? Go for it. Post what you like in regards to the pattern. We're all here to help each other. Okay. We'll see you in a few days. Bye.